welcome back to the channel. I have been cycling recently, road cycling, to train for the MS 150, which is one of the biggest races in the country. It's a race to fund for MS, and I'm going with a team who we have a rider that has MS, so it's going to be a really fun race. It's 150 miles over 2 days, so 2 75-mile days from Austin to College Station. And as I've been training and riding a lot more, I have gotten into some practices that I wanted to share with y'all. And so I just called them 3 golden rules to managing your blood sugar while exercising. And they're not the only guidelines that I use. They're just sort of the most universal, I would say, that can apply to the most people. Everyone's got nuance to how they're going to manage their blood sugar, but I've found these really helpful, and I think they could be helpful for y'all. So the first rule that I follow for myself is if I have active insulin and my blood sugar is below 100, I won't start exercising, just because as soon as I do start, my exercise matched with my active insulin is going to immediately drive my blood sugars down. And so 5 to 10 minutes in, I'm going to have to stop and eat a protein bar and take glucose tablets and try to get it back to a normal range. And I've noticed just when I start my exercises at that point and then I have the low, it's really hard to get it up, and it's really hard to keep it up. And so I end up eating all my snacks and going through a ton of glucose tablets just to try to get it in a normal range. Even if you don't have active insulin in your body, if you're around 100 with your blood glucose, I would still be careful starting to exercise. You may want to eat something before you do, just to get a little bit of a floor going, and maybe even a little bit of upward momentum, depending on how hard you're going to be exercising and for how long. The second rule that I follow is before I start exercising, sometimes up to half an hour before, I will put my pump into its exercise mode. So I wear the Medtronic 770G, and that has on the main menu you can scroll down and it has a temporary target option, and you enter in the duration of your exercise, and it sets your blood sugar target at 150 instead of 120. What I believe that translates to is it gives you less basal so that your target range is higher, because it knows that as you exercise, it's more likely to go down naturally. And the third rule that I follow is I always carry what I just call heavy carbs with me. So glucose tablets I consider light carbs. They're just very shallow. They don't have a whole lot of power to raise your blood sugar, especially when you're exercising. I've gone through literally 10 or 12 glucose tablets while cycling, and it seems to do almost nothing until I stop working out, and then it sort of kicks in. So for me, when I'm trying to keep exercising but catch a low and try to get it stable, I have to have something like a protein bar. And so I'll pack 2 or 3 protein bars with me, whether I'm hiking or running or cycling. And just a side note, try not to micromanage your highs when you're exercising. I mean, really, we shouldn't be micromanaging at all, even when we're not exercising. I do tend to micromanage. I will take manual bolus to try to keep my highs from continuing to rise. I recently talked to a specialist, and she said that's really messing with the algorithm of my pump, and I need to try to stop micromanaging. And so I've been trying, and especially during exercise, I've noticed that when I micromanage and I take manual bolus, it never ends well, because I don't really know how to precisely calculate the amount of bolus that I need while exercising. So I would just let the algorithm see that your blood sugar is a little high while you're exercising and give it time, which is not always, doesn't really feel natural to give it time. I know the stress of having a high blood sugar for a long period of time, but let it ride out, and that algorithm in your pump system should work your levels back down. And another little side note is something I've noticed in myself is I'll have great levels, great blood sugar levels when I'm exercising, and then when I stop, it's like the carbs that I ate during the ride or during the exercise, whatever it is, they catch up to me, and I tend to see rising blood sugars once I'm back at home relaxing and winding down. So I guess a tip there would just be to make sure that you're monitoring your blood sugar after you exercise, and don't forget to take your pump out of the exercise mode that you put it in when you started. That is the 3 tips that I have, plus a few little side notes. I hope that it's helpful, and at the end of April, the last weekend of April, I'll be riding the MS-150 with a few friends, and so I hope to do some video on that. It may be hard to do both things at once, but if anything, I will make a recap video, and maybe I can do the same thing I did in my previous video, which was export that sensor data and just break it down and talk about the experience through that. All right, y'all, have a good one. See you in the next video.